The US and China have been in a tariff war and they have finally agreed on a resolution, at least for the next 12 months. With the tension easing off, it's a great time to talk about the largest bank in the world based on AUM, Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, or ICBC. Yes, the largest bank in the world is not JP Morgan in terms of AUM, but the state owned bank from China. In this video, I will break down why this company is potentially a deep value investment and the risks associated with this. China is a one party communist state. Investing in their publicly traded companies involves learning about their leader's political doctrine, Xi Jinping thought, or Xiism. This revolves around what they call the six musts: put the people first, be self reliant, uphold integrity, and innovate, adopt a problem oriented approach, apply systems thinking, and maintain a global vision. The six musts are applied by all companies that operate in their country, even more so by state owned ones such as ICBC. This means that to invest in China, you would need to be comfortable and realistic that their economy operates differently from the US economy. As they try to steer the economy to the right path, China's government takes hold of major companies in needed industries such as banking. ICBC is 70.35% state owned based on their last annual filing through different entities and is one of the leaders that enable CSM through having the largest loan book in the world. These loans are concentrated to local companies at about 95% of their book. This begs the question, which percentage of these loans are actually good? There really is no way of figuring these out, similar to all banks, except through their loan profiles. Their loans are mostly distributed to the sectors seen as most important by the government, with five sectors dominating their loan book at around 75.40%. This means that ICBC sees these sectors as the most impactful in terms of growing their economy. Additionally, their non-performing loans ratio, or NPL ratio, even lower than the USA at 1.33%. A low NPL ratio means that their bank is in stable condition and are distributing loans to the correct borrowers. This does not mean that they are immune to the innate risks of the banking sector, but it is a good indicator that top management is properly assessing their borrowers to mitigate bad loans. Additionally, they have a total of 13 million corporate customers and 766 million personal customers around the world. There's no definite distribution of these customers by geography, but it can be inferred that this mostly comes from their locals in the country. This huge base has led their 5-year deposits to grow at a solid clip of around 6.74% and shows the reliance that their economy has on this bank. For context, JP Morgan has grown their deposits at 2.1% in their last year. As they are the largest bank based on AUM, I have done a relative analysis of the top 5 foreign banks based on AUM globally. For my analysis, I'll be focusing on their deposits growth and NPL ratio, along with my usual operating metrics. The only operating metric I changed was operating margin because I wanted to use net income margin instead. As banks report revenue differently, my computation for net income margin here is total net income divided by total net interest income plus non-interest income. As you can see, their company is delivering the third best results to investors. Despite not being the best in class, as clearly that is JP Morgan, they are performing pretty well while holding such a large amount of deposits. This could be due to multiple factors such as size and lack of potential investments, but their maintenance of having the second best NPL ratio shows the company's ability to manage risk. If these numbers are true, then they can be regarded as one of the top banks in the whole world. On the other hand, there is a major difference as they have innate sovereign risk. Sovereign risk really raises the question about quality and has hindered investments into Chinese companies due to the lack of information available about their economy. In general, news about their country has always been perceived negatively despite the country's progression. Even if they are taking the lead in major industries such as EV manufacturing and maybe even AI, the general consensus is that the US is still a better place to invest in. As an investor, I do not focus on the macroeconomics of a country and prefer to look at the individual company first, as this sovereign risk is an innate part of the bank due to being state owned. My comfortability in purchasing depends on how deep the company's margin of safety is. In terms of their numbers, I have treated them conservatively as I do with all companies I study. And from my DCF, the company is essentially the most undervalued company I have analyzed while being potentially one with the highest quality. As you can see, their 7-year average owner's earnings show that if they can just maintain their current size, you can essentially get all your money back in less than 3.5 years. That is an amazing deal if its quality can stay intact. For me, I'm willing to take a leap and invest in the company due to the huge difference between price and value while having a solid dividend yield of over 6% at my dates of purchase. Additionally, I have taken an extra step of investing only 5% of my total portfolio in the company due to my inability to fully understand the sovereign risks associated with the company. This extra step allows me to stay comfortable and ride the waves that their stock may experience. It may seem like a small step as well, but I would argue that it is actually a very huge step. If JP Morgan had the same divergence between price and value, I would be willing to put more than 50% of my portfolio in their company, assuming that, of course, Jamie Dimon remains as their CEO. As seen from my numbers earlier, ICBC already seems like a solid competitor to JP Morgan, which really shows how much importance I give to their innate sovereign risk. With that, I've only purchased the company once at 5.44 Hong Kong dollars per share. This boils down my price to a cost basis of $5.46 per share after fees. For my next steps, I plan to hold the stock until it reaches my fair value estimate and even add if it becomes less than 5% of my portfolio. I am comfortable holding this stock for the long run unless 1. Any major government changes happen in their country, 2. Any innate industry risk comes into play, or 3. There is a better investment for my money. In these cases, I will sell the company and be happy with the gains or losses from this investment. Thank you so much for listening to my analysis. For those who are curious about my portfolio updates and changes, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will be doing this for future videos as well. Thank you so much.